Hey Capricorn, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you found me. This is your August 2017 Tarot and Astrology video, where I'm going to combine the astrology and the cards that fall before us and try to give you the most empowering information that I can from what's before us. I also want to say hi, hello, and welcome to my new subscribers and viewers. I'm really bad at acknowledging y'all showing up here and being a part of this channel. I notice the numbers rising every day, and I appreciate your presence here. I'm just really bad about acknowledging it in the videos. So, hi, and sorry I suck. Capricorn, August is going to be a very important month for all of us, and it's because we're going to be influenced by eclipse season and also by Mercury going retrograde in between these eclipses. We will be experiencing a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Aquarius, and this will be occurring on the 7th of August. And it's not just going to impact the people who have Aquarius placements, it's also going to possibly be felt by people who have 10 to 15 degrees of any of the fixed sign energy. That can be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius. And this is where astrology is really cool, because if you know your chart, then you can see where your placements are and get a more exact idea as to what would be going on and where these things are taking place in your own personal chart. The placements that I speak about are based on a Capricorn rising chart, because I look at the rising sign chart for whatever zodiac sign that I'm looking at. So for Capricorn rising, this lunar eclipse will be in your second house. The second house is the house of Taurus, and it's also dealing with your money and your possessions, your earning ability, and self-esteem. Anything that you would point to, classify, identify, or introduce as mine to another person would fall under that second house umbrella for me. Lunar eclipses are associated with endings, resolutions, culminations, chapters ending that you may not have necessarily had a say in how it ended. Lunar eclipses are also associated with the feminine energy, because the female system is dominated by the lunar cycle. Every 28 days we have a menstrual period. It's tied to the lunar cycles. Pay attention, ladies. So, after this lunar eclipse on the 7th, we've got Mercury going retrograde in Virgo. And Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury is the planet that dominates thought, movement, and communication. During a Mercury retrograde, it will be harder to get from point A to point B. And that can be in your thought, your logic, your communication, the story, getting the email or the actual physical mail, or literally getting from point A to point B on a regular basis. So if you have any friends that are Virgos, or even Gemini, because Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, be a little lenient with them if you can throughout the month of August, because they're going to be experiencing things from a very different perspective than the majority of us, because their ruling planet is going backwards in the sky from our perspective. For you, this Mercury retrograde is going to be in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house that's ruled by Sagittarius, and it's the house of long-distance trips, adventures, and questing. It deals with higher education. This can be the study of anything from religion to philosophy to metaphysics, astrology, stuff like this. It can be foreign languages. It can be dealing with foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things as well. And on the 21st of the month, we've got that solar eclipse that many people have heard about. It's being called the Great American Eclipse because the path of totality cuts across the United States, and from the Northwest to the Carolinas. The solar eclipses are associated with new birth, new beginning, new breath, just new life force. And the solar eclipses are also associated with masculine energy. This solar eclipse will be occurring at 28 degrees of Leo, and it will be impacting some other signs as well, depending on the degree placements in your chart. So if you have 24 to 30 degrees of the fixed signs, which would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, or If you have 0 to 4 degrees of a mutable sign energy, this can be a planet, one of the house angles, your midheaven, your IC, your ascendant, or the descendant. The mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. For you, Capricorn rising, this solar eclipse is occurring in the 8th house, and the 8th house is the house of Scorpio. It's the house of life, death, and rebirth. It's the house of major transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis. It's deep, primal, basic, or human instincts. It's dealing with themes of sexuality. It really is the house of the blood and guts. It's the most sensitive part of the chart because it's so intimate. It's dealing with the conversations and the topics that people don't necessarily have on a daily basis. Serious stuff has to go on for that 8th house to really be talked about. The 8th house also deals with other people's money, and that can be dealing with insurance payments, that can be dealing with inheritance, that can be scholarships, loans, just your partner's money in one way or another. All of those themes are rising around the solar eclipse for you. And the eclipses have about a 6-month duration of impact effect. And there are some astrologers that say that the eclipses are at like critical mass 3 months after the fact. I don't know if I necessarily ascribe to that, but I'm sure that it would play true or ring true for some people out there. I'm shuffling my deck for you now, Capricorn. Asking for the messages, the guidance, the information, or the warnings that you need to see for the month of August 2017. For this eclipse and Mercury retrograde, what does Capricorn need to see or know? I'm going to cut the deck for you, Capricorn. Bottom card represents the underlying theme or overarching energy of my spreads, and the top 3 are for clarity. If you need a time frame association with the cards, we can do past, present, future. I'm now going to shuffle for you the Illuminated Tarot deck by Caitlin Keegan. I like this deck because it's dual purpose. You can use it as a playing card deck, but you can also use it as a tarot deck. She took the major arcana and reduced it into the minor arcana, so there are some cards that will be dual purpose. If those cards or any show up in the cards that I pull for you from this deck, then I'll do my best to give you all of the associations tied with what falls for my Capricorns. Any clarity, any extra warnings or guidance, any information that needs to be shared, anything that the Capricorns need to know from this deck. I'm cutting for you now. I'm going to pull the top and the bottom card from the Illuminated Tarot deck. Top, bottom. I'm also going to shuffle for you the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. I'm going to pull the top and bottom cards from this deck after I cut it as well. For my Capricorns. Okay, you had a card jump. So there's a lanyap card for y'all. For my new viewers or people who have never heard me explain it, I've adopted the state of Louisiana as my home state. I was born in Germany, West Germany, when there was a West Side. So anyways, lanyap means a little something extra here in Louisiana, so you got an extra card. That's a lanyap card. I'm still going to pull 2 cards from this deck after I cut it. I'm going to cut the deck right now. Top, bottom. Okay, Capricorn, what I'm going to do now is hit the pause button, flip these cards over, do the tarot math, and also look at my astrological notes in front of me and try to bring forth the best, most empowering information that I can for you. So hang tight. I'll be right back, y'all. Hi, Capricorn. I'm back with your cards, so let's go ahead and get started. The card that fell in the underlying theme or overarching energy position for this spread is the Major Arcana card, the Empress. This is the third card of the Major Arcana, and the number 3 speaks to a couple of different things. The first is the theme or topic of communication, and that's because it's tied to the 3rd house. And the way that I read the numbers of the cards is by associating them to the houses on the astrological wheel. The 3rd house is the house of Gemini, and it's the house of communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors, and things going on in our neighborhood. It's also our communication devices and the things that get us from point A to point B, logically, physically, or our message from point A to point B. The Empress card is representative of Venus. Here's the glyph of Venus right here on the little heart shield next to her seat. Venus is the planet that represents love and values and resources. We experienced Venus going retrograde earlier this year in the spring. And Venus went retrograde in your 4th and 3rd houses. So some of you may have reassessed your home and family. Some of you may have found out about siblings, cousins, or neighbors that you didn't know about before. Or there may have been a new sibling show up, or a new cousin, or a new neighbor, something to that effect. Between the 4th and 3rd houses. Could also be communication devices or a new vehicle as well. Just looking at the houses that Venus went retrograde in. If it wasn't anew, then it was issues surrounding those same topics. Venus rules 2 different zodiac signs. The first of the 2 is Taurus. The second is Libra. So it could be involving a Taurus or a Libra as well. Now, the Empress card, representative of Venus. Venus is moving into your 8th house at the end of the month after the eclipses on the 26th of August. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, harmony, money, and resources, is moving into the 8th house. And the 8th house on the astrological wheel is ruled by Scorpio, and that's the house of life, death, and rebirth, other people's money. Primal, basic, or human instincts. It also deals with sexuality and major transformation, metamorphosis, or regeneration. The fact that Venus is moving into the 8th house could very much be reflective of your partner, your partner's money, or it could be money coming to you through an inheritance or some sort of family link, and that's because of a card that fell for clarity on the second portion of the cards that I drew for you. The Empress is representative of abundance and the feminine energy, and also taking productive action. I see this woman as a pimpstress, or a pimproviser, if you will. I like to make up my own vernacular at times, and I will take words and hybridize them and make them my own. This female, this individual, this person, this situation is able to take the things, the resources that are around them, and they're able to make it better, whatever it is. They beautify it. They can take a few simple ingredients and make a meal out of it. Has the ability to produce from literally almost nothing. I feel like this is very much reflective of that Venus going retrograde earlier this year for you, especially with the number 3 showing up, and that is the house of Pisces for you, Capricorn rising. So a lot of different associations just with this one card right here. Now, the card that fell in the top 3 for clarity in the past positioning is another major arcana. Pay attention that all of your cards that fell in the top 3 for clarity are in reverse. I feel like this is reflective of the fact that Mercury is going retrograde and the fact that there is eclipse season going on. It can feel like the rug has been pulled from underneath of you, especially if you haven't been taking the Empress kind of embodiment of taking a productive action and being proactive in a situation. If you've just been passive, then it can definitely feel like things are happening to you as opposed to you having any say in what's going on. And that's a perfect segue into this number 2 card of the Major Arcana. And I say that because the second house was spoken about earlier. That's where the lunar eclipse is occurring for y'all, and that's in the house of Taurus. Once again, another association with this Empress card. Empress being Venus. Venus rules Taurus. Taurus rules that second house of money, values, possessions, earning ability, and self-esteem. Anything you point to, classify, identify, or introduce as mine are second house items, in my opinion. This High Priestess card is reflective of the theme of duality. It's also, like I said, reflective of that lunar eclipse in Aquarius happening in your second house on the 7th of the month. The High Priestess card represents the moon. The moon is ruled by Cancer. And Cancer rules the 4th house, dealing with home and family. The High Priestess card deals with the unconscious, the subconscious, or the hidden. It can also be revolving around feelings or emotions being expressed, or secrets coming to the surface or being hidden, just depending. And it feels like in the reverse that there are going to be secrets exposing things revolving around that second house. Second house can be a very, very personal house because it's the things that we feel like we need to have to survive. Could be an ending coming in one way or another. Could be an ending that you felt like was coming before, but for whatever reason worked out. And it feels like it could be like a replay of the past in some way. I always associate water signs with the High Priestess, just because they are the more intuitive, in my opinion, able to kind of see in between the veils. And the ancients did say that during eclipse season, that's when the veil was the thinnest. So if you are getting any sort of internal prompts, or your intuition is strong, or you have a very strong gut feeling, I would say that it would be very wise for you to follow, or at least acknowledge what is going on. You get those feelings for a reason. And the second card that fell in the top 3 for clarity, this can represent the present situation at hand. This is the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 speaks to the theme of change. It can also speak to that 8th house on the astrological wheel. The 8th house is where you're experiencing the solar eclipse on the 21st of the month. So it's no big secret that there's going to be changes that you're faced with during this eclipse season. That's what eclipse season is all about. It's about turning off the lights and then turning them back on so you can see things from a different perspective. One that you wouldn't have been able to see or experience without the eclipse turning off those lights and turning them back on. The pentacles represent earth sign energy. That can be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. We've heard Taurus spoken about a lot here lately, so it could be really revolving around a Taurus for you, Capricorn. This 8 of Pentacles represents education and being engaged in your education. It's also dealing with like long to-do lists, or just a lot of stuff that you have to do or get done. Could also be that you're dealing with debt in one way or another. I see this card as the Journeyman card as well. The 3 of Pentacles is the Apprentice, where there's people standing over their shoulder and watching them and making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, critiquing them, and quality control kind of things. This individual, if they're not a journeyman, then they're possibly thinking about being an entrepreneur, or doing something on their own, possibly crafting as well, possibly is like a side hustle or something. 8th house again, where that solar eclipse is going to be occurring, and that's dealing with the house of Scorpio, life, death, and rebirth, other people's money. Other people's money can be insurance, it can be scholarship, it can be loans, it can be your partner's income. It can be return on investment stuff. It's money that's coming to you that you didn't necessarily earn by an hourly wage. It's by somebody else's hand that it comes to you. It's somebody else's decision, somebody else's work, somebody else's signing off on you getting this payment. And I've had some people really get upset with the way that I describe it. And I didn't write it the way, I didn't interpret it this way. I've learned about it through other people's interpretations. So that's a conglomeration of what it is. I was a housewife for almost 12 years. I get it. I didn't earn a dime, though. I worked my ass off, but I don't have a 401k for that. It's that sort of thing. That money that you don't earn by an hourly wage, that you don't get, that you haven't necessarily gone out and been employed for, is the best way that I know how to describe it. The 8th house can also be like the house of like monetary gifts coming to you, or like lottery winnings as well. Now, the card that fell in the future position for you is the 7 of Cups in reverse as well. I feel like this is very much reflective of what you're going to be feeling or dealing with when it comes to the end of the month, or on the other side of eclipse season, where it's like, holy crap, what was that? What just happened? What went on? I feel like there are going to be secrets being exposed. Someone is in the dark about something, and it will be possibly coming to light. You could also literally see it kind of evaporate or dissolve or just poof into smoke, disappear from in front of you. The 7 speaks to the theme of faith, and it also deals with the 7th house. The 7th house deals with your partnerships and relationships and how you deal with other people, those interactions with other people, how you reflect on that as to who it is that you really are. It's another lens that you see yourself through. 7th house also deals with counseling and your open enemies. This can be frenemies. This can be people that you have an open beef with. This is people you would testify against in an open court of law. This is also people, I think, that you would be arguing against, like online, especially around like the election, the U.S. election, when it was just so vitriolic, like that kind of argument where people can kind of see and digest it as it's going on. It's nothing hidden. It's very much airing of dirty laundry, if you will. The cups in this card representing water signs. Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. With the cups being in reverse, I feel like it's like you're on fumes. There's nothing left to give. For some of you, it may be that you're emotionally spent. This card is normally associated with like illusion, imagination, fantasy. I also see this as like a card of too much drinking. And counting your chickens before the eggs have hatched, that kind of thing, where you're banking on so much and it's not what you thought it was going to be, or you were told X amount and it's not even half of what it was, and you've already spent what you thought you were going to get. It's like that kind of a circumstance where you aren't getting what you thought you were going to get. And that can very much be the theme and the case with a Mercury retrograde. Because the 9th house, where Mercury is going retrograde, is the house of legal system matters. So it could be like you were banking on a settlement, a judgment coming into you, and it's not what you thought it was going to be, is what it looks like. You're still going to make it out okay. With this card being in the upright, is what it feels like, is that you're gonna do what you can with what you have been given. When I used to substitute teach for kindergarten, I would tell the kindergartners, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. And it sounds really cruel. It's not cruel, but it sounds really short. But, I mean, it's the honest truth. You really do get what you get in this life, and you can pitch a fit about it, but it's not going to change the situation, right? The injustice of it, whatever it is that you don't agree with, you can deal with on another day. You've got to make a pimp decision with what does come your way. And with all of these cards falling in the reverse, especially this one being in the future position, and being completely in the dark about it, and all of them being in reverse. It feels like it's a lack, or it's the complete opposite, or you weren't expecting it at all to turn out the way that it has, or that it did. Now, I did the tarot math for this spread, and it ended up being 20. 2 plus 0 is 2, and that speaks to that second house on the astrological wheel. That's the house of Taurus. That's dealing with your money, earning ability, self-esteem, possessions. This can be your partnerships. This can be the relationships that you hold most dear. My boyfriend, my spouse, my lover, my best friend, my child. All of the things that you would say my before would fall under that second house, in my opinion. So this is indicating that you need to do the best with what you have when it comes to your resources, even if it's not what you thought it was going to be. That lunar eclipse is going to be in that second house. Lunar eclipse, again, is occurring on the 7th of the month. It's a partial lunar eclipse in Aquarius, but you're going to feel it in that second house of your money, earning ability, self-esteem, possessions, and resources. It could be impacting an actual Aquarius in your world. So I pulled for you, pardon me, I need to grab a sip real quick. Okay, I pulled for you from the Illuminated Tarot deck 2 cards. And the deck is by Caitlin Keegan again. The first of the 2 that fell for you is the 4 of Clubs card, and this deals with a solid foundation, celebration, and stability. This card is also reflective of the 4 of Wands in the Rider-Waite Tarot. The 4 of Wands deals with stability and harmony in the home or marriage. It can also be a family celebration. What's interesting, aside from the Wands being fire signs, which are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, you will be experiencing Uranus, the planet of shocks and surprises, changes and liberation and rebellion. You will be experiencing that in your 4th house with Uranus going retrograde. And that will be occurring at the very beginning of the month on August the 3rd. So it could be a shock and a surprise to the head, because Aries rules the head. A shock and a surprise to the head are surrounding the solid foundation or the stability of the home or the harmony in the marriage. Again, looking like it's not turning out the way you thought it would. It could be for some of you Capricorns that that's the case. And it makes even more sense knowing that at the end of the year, Saturn is going to be moving through your sign, testing everything that you've built thus far. If you're a Capricorn rising, it's going to feel like hell in a handbasket for a little bit, for about 2.5 years. And that's coming. It's moving towards you. So prepare now. Understand you're going to be under a lot of tremendous stress and restriction. And this isn't to, I don't want to be a doom bringer, but I do want to warn you. I would have given anything to know that Saturn was going to be thumping on my ascendant, because that got my attention big time, and it happened with a house fire that was a near-death experience, and that led me to the path that got me to doing these videos for you. So, I mean, you can say that I'm being that I see things negatively, but I've walked through fire literally. So I'm going to see things from a protective standpoint. My moon is in the 7th house, meaning I feel a need to protect those that I call my friends and my partners. If you're watching this video, I consider you someone I care about. If you take the time to watch what I'm doing, I care about what's going on in your world. Even if I don't know the details, I care. That's part of my problem, I guess. I care too much, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Regardless, this isn't about me, this is about y'all. Again, another drink. Oh my goodness, y'all. I don't like this, I don't like this. Okay, not your reading, but my throat. The next card that I pulled for you is the 5 of Spades, which deals with a difficult opponent or possible disappointment. The 5 of Spades also reflects the 5 of Swords in the Rider-Waite Tarot. The swords deal with air sign energy. That is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The 5 deals with a theme of adversity. It also deals with conflict, tension, and defeat. It could be that someone is, again, there's something hidden that one party doesn't know about. Somebody's keeping the cards close to their chest and the other hasn't even had an opportunity to look at them. I believe in forewarned is forearmed, and I try my best to empower you with the information that I see. From the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle card, I pulled the white opal card actually fell out while I was shuffling. It deals with purification, commitment, and joy. It can help heal and amplify the crown chakra vibrations. White opal clears and purifies energies while helping you to manifest a clear connection with your guides. You've pulled this card because you need to burn away aspects of yourself that no longer serve you, leaving room for positive energy to develop. So meditate with white opal to release negative thought patterns, experience spiritual fulfillment, and to commune with your spiritual guardians and guides. White opal. The second card that I pulled for you is the Unkite Jasper card. This card has fallen a lot, especially in the private readings that I've been doing lately. This card deals with self-love, balance, and integration. It can help heal and amplify the vibration of the heart chakra. I feel like this card is tied to the solar eclipse because the solar eclipse is in Leo, and Leo rules the heart. Unkite Jasper is the stone of divine feminine grace and self-love. It helps you to remember that you should treat yourself with loving care. You've pulled this card because you need a renewal of your patience and perseverance, and to treat yourself with loving kindness. So meditate with Unkite Jasper to heal your heart, to integrate your emotions, and to find unconditional love for yourself. The final card that fell for you, again dealing with love and heart healing, is the Rose Quartz card. It can help heal and amplify the vibrations of the heart chakra. Rose Quartz is the stone of universal love energy. It draws love to the bearer and brings peace during times of transition and eases heartache. I'm sorry, y'all. You've pulled this card because your heart space needs healing in order to give and receive love. Meditate with Rose Quartz to lower your walls, initiate self-love, and to love others more deeply. This is a Rose Quartz generator that I keep near my other gemstones, and I charge during the full moon and stuff because reasons. I feel like you really need to listen to your heart because it will not guide you in the wrong direction. I feel like you haven't been following the intuition that you've been given in the past, and you've been building something that feels like it has been built on sinking sand. And that's not going to be the case for every Capricorn out there, but you do have Pluto transiting through your sign right now, and that deals with the best analogy I can think of a Pluto transit is coastal erosion, because it's something that's occurring every day, but we don't see it without a meta perspective or a before and after picture to really be able to see the growth, see the changes, see the destruction, see the devastation, and understand that before you can build something, demolition has to happen in one way or another. Even if you have to do nothing more than break ground, that's still destruction before building. Capricorn, I hope you're well, and I'm sending you so much love. Please take care of yourself, and please be kind to yourself. Save some of that kindness for others, because we're all going through private battles in our world that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. I do hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm sorry if my voice sounded like it was going to give out on y'all, but I feel compelled to give you everything that I can for these general readings, because I know that I would have given anything to have this guidance a month before the fire. It's why I do what I do, y'all. Take care. Again, I'm sending you a lot of love, and I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I intend to be around near the solar eclipse to pull some oracle cards for us for guidance and extra help or clarity or hope during this eclipse season, because it's going to be a pretty powerful one. I'll see y'all on the other side of it. And again, bye, y'all.